that my party leader, Rigathi Gashagua, is wanted. Last night, you saw a number of police officers surrounding his two residences, the famous Wamunyoro's residence and his current residence. And we have heard that there are speculations that he wants to be arrested because of the statements he made during the Obina show that Kenya, if elections will be rigged, then 2007 will be like Christmas Day. I want to say that my party leader, Honorable Rigathi Gashagua, as a Kenyan, he operates in the limits of the Constitution. Article 33 is very clear, the freedom and the rights to expression, and he has a right to receive, to seek, and even to impart information. There is nothing wrong, and I want to emphasize here, for my party leader to remind Kenyans what happened in 2007. History is history. That is why in our current syllabus, we still teach about the war between the Jews and the Holocaust in World War II. That is why every year the Rwanda government commemorates the genocide. There is nothing wrong for anybody in Kenya to remind people what happened in Kiambaa. And therefore, let us not hide from our past. Our history cannot be amended. We must continue reminding Kenyans what happens if an election is rigged. The 2007-2008 post-election violence did not just happen from the blues. The 2007-2008 post-election violence happened or was caused out of rigging of elections. What my party leader is saying is that we have had members of the ruling party confessing in broad daylight that they are going to steal elections. You saw Honorable Oscar Sudi. You saw Honorable Cherargei. Up to now, they have not been arrested. And you know, that amounts to subversion of the will of the people.
Are those sentiments that you take seriously? They are not in IEBC, are they?
No. Rigathi Gashagua is not in IEBC. Is he?
No. I'm saying the sentiments by Oscar Sudi and Cherargei, do you take them seriously? You
know, those are agents of the president. They emanate from the community of the president. They are at the center of the executing team of the president. When Cherargei speaks, that is William Ruto speaking. When Oscar Sudi speaks... I mean,
how do you assign that? He's the senator of Nandi.
No, but you know, we exist within a perimeter wall of reality in politics, whereby you know what I'm saying, Sam, that Sudi has been posed as the home speaker of the president. Cherargei is there. When he says something, you've heard Honorable Koech saying, I am authoritatively saying that Rigathi Gashagua is going to be arrested.
Senator Malala.
And therefore, what we are saying is that history is history. Rigathi Gashagua said, and I want to repeat here, that if elections will be rigged, because we are seeing signals, and we've started seeing people chest thumping that they're going to rig the elections. And we're saying we must ensure that elections are not rigged. We want transparency. We want integrity in the entire process. And there is nothing wrong for a Kenyan to remind. In fact, we want Kenya to set aside a day for us to be remembering the Kiambaa.
Let me ask you this question. Do you find the former Deputy President's sentiments responsible? He says the mood in the country is that if IEBC tries to mess with the election, there will be no country here. 2007 will look like a Christmas party, I can tell you. And I want to implore those commissioners to be Kenyans, to be patriotic, and not to attempt to force William Ruto on the people of Kenya. It will not work. The people of Kenya will not accept it. People want change and they are ready for change. Indeed, they are impatient that 2 years is too far away. Do you find those sentiments responsible?
You know, our clarion call as a party is to listen to the ground. We have listened to the ground. Everywhere.
What you say is within your control.
No, but you see, what he says is if IEBC will rig elections. So it's the responsibility of the government to ensure that elections are not rigged.
But they don't.
And you see, there's nothing wrong with prophesizing.
I mean, government doesn't.
You know what Rigathi Gashagua was doing? He was prophesizing. He was dreaming. It's like a foreshadow. Is it wrong to imagine? It has become a treasonable offense for you to start imagining.
But dreams are personal if indeed they are dreams.
But no, but you see,
Senator Sotsi, what do you make of these sentiments?
Well, I think I'm looking at it from two perspectives.
Yeah.
One is that we have freedoms in the Constitution under Article 33, freedom of expression, which the former Deputy President and the party leader of the new party, DCP, is entitled to. But then there are limitations to that in the same Constitution, that even as you exercise your freedom of expression, you have to do it very objectively. You have to do it with some limitations.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly impressed by the statement that 2027 will, if elections are rigged, then 2007 will be like a Christmas. It will be like a Christmas party.
Yeah.
I think that was very reckless, and as much as my friend here, Malala, is trying to defend that position, I think it's a bit responsible. As leaders, we need to express ourselves, knowing that we have a country to protect. Because if this country is gone, all of us will go. Therefore, yes, he has a freedom of expression, but that expression must be exercised with some caution. That expression must be limited in a way. But also looking at it politically, I think if I was in UDA, the best approach I will do is to ignore what Deputy President says, the former Deputy President says, because he talks so much. And I think they had done so well at some point when they ignored him. But now, you see, when he speaks and they seem to react to it, it makes him, it creates a mountain out of an anthill.
Yeah.
And I think it's not very strategic for them to do that. You better allow him. You better allow him.
Of government or something.
No. You had your time. I'm just.
Senator Malala, please allow him to finish.
Okay. I'm talking about UDA, your former party.
Not the government.
I'm talking about the UDA.
Okay.
That if I were a member of the UDA, a leader there, then the strategy I would adopt is to completely ignore the former Deputy President, let him continue talking until Jesus comes. But it is not strategic for them to appear like they want to engage him, they want to arrest him, they want to do what. That would create a mountain out of an anthill. It's not strategic at all. For Rigathi Gashagua, I think this is the messaging after the launch of his party would have been better. I think now he would be focusing on telling people about his party, what is the agenda of this party, what is this party going to do to deal with the problems that he has been talking about. But now you launch a party, you don't tell us much about the party. The next thing is you are moving around only one region of the country, talking about an individual. That limits your party and is also not very strategic. I was struggling to really understand what DCP is after.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get anything.
Okay.
Instead,
we'll get to the DCP because the
yes.
DCP party leader is here.
So I think Malala.
Speak for ODM, boss.
No, I have to speak about it. I have to speak about it also. We will talk much about that when we come to that
Let
point.
me first hear from Honorable Koech here, because you're saying that it's actually late that Rigathi Gachagua has not been arrested. So why haven't you?
First, let me say that when he talks about rigging of election, it's not Rigathi Gachagua is not a threat to anyone. No, number one, unless he overturns his impeachment, it stands now. He cannot run for any office. In fact, it is Malala and Rigathi Gachagua have a problem. Section 13 of the Political Parties Act. Any person who's been disqualified from holding public office should not have any office in a political party. So as it is a party that has no, this is a party of a group of people who decided to unite, people who failed in public service, you know, people who've been exited from public service. Linturi, and I feel very sad for Linturi, that the only position they could give him is that of an organizing secretary. Yet Linturi is more senior even than Malala in terms of political life. He's been there for very long.
Sorry, you said section?
Sorry?
You said what section of the Political Parties Act?
Section 13 of the Political Parties Act, 2012.
Okay, carry on.
So I want you to look at that. So, I mean, Rigathi Gachagua is not a threat. He's not running for any office. He's impeached, and until he overturns that, he's not a competitor. My reference was, I didn't get the analogy. I mean, Christmas is supposed to be a feasting season, supposed to be a prayer season for the Christian community. Now, Rigathi Gachagua is comparing 2007, you know, to someone going to the butchers to get meat. And he's saying that is how 2027 will look like. Number one, we have no interest in rigging an election because it's our manifesto. This is not the first time that UDA is running for office. It's been there before. We've never rigged any election. That statement is not a statement that Rigathi Gachagua was issuing in vain. It is a statement that is loaded. It is a statement of plans that he has. Rigathi Gachagua, as we are talking right now, including a few of members of parliament, are about to be charged for what happened last year on 25th of June. The invasion of parliament and the chaos after. The architect includes Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And when he issues another statement, it is not taken lightly because this is someone who has the capability of causing chaos, not by any power that he has, but through his tongue. He has a very, very poisonous tongue. And if he is not charged, then he believes that he's above the law. We all must submit to the law, like I said initially, Sam. 2007 is something that, like, and Malala is saying, we must have to remind ourselves, like the Holocaust. It is perfectly okay, but do not use the scenario of 2007 to blackmail and threaten Kenyans. Okay?
We want to rig elections.
Rig elections against. Let me tell you, Sam.
Sorry, what's the threat here?
No, he's blackmailing. When he says the threat is real. When he says 2027 is going to be even worse than 2007, that is a huge threat.
But there's a condition.
Yeah, how will you... No, do you know what these people are doing? They want to bastardize the IEBC commissioners, the nominees. They just do not want, they are uncomfortable with the nominees, they are uncomfortable with the names. The process of constituting IBC is not complete. It is in the final phase. It is coming to Parliament before JLI committee. And that is why they are uncomfortable with it. They won't say it, but they are uncomfortable with it. It has nothing to do...
Actually, there's something the former deputy president... Is that even fair? That Ethekon is an ally of Josephat Nanok? I mean, you're also an ally of someone, aren't you?
I think that was a fair statement, and it's good for Kenyans to know the history of the person who has been nominated as the IBC chair. There is nothing wrong with history. I don't know why this government is paranoid of the past. It is true that the chairperson, the nominee of the chairperson position, was the Attorney General of Nanok, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff. It is also good for Kenyans to know that Alutalala, Alutalala was an aide to Mudavadi. It is good for people to know. We are not saying that we are contesting those names. In fact, we were shocked that that name was proposed as the nominee. We thought Farouk Kibet was going to be named as the chairperson. But we are okay with any name, any person. We don't care. What we are requesting and what we are demanding is we want integrity in the process. When we hear the likes of Cherargei and Oscar Sudi saying that they are going to rig elections, then we have reason to start raising those concerns now. And I have had Honorable Osotsi speaking. Honorable Osotsi, history is history. You belong to a party that has been in all governments, getting in government through violent means. In 2007, the people who fought to get into government by getting Nusumkati was your party, ODM. Raila Odinga fought. People lost their lives. Blood was shed for him to get into the handshake government. Recently, he took advantage of the Gen Z situation to get into government. You know the people who are responsible for the 2007-2008 post-election violence. They have now regrouped and now accusing somebody who has got no track of violence that he is going to cause violence. So my concern is my concern is it is true, it is in history.
You should not allow Malala to get scot-free with this statement. I think it's unfair for him to say that ODM comes to power through violence. 2007, there was a process, post-election justice process at ICC. There was the ODM as a party. But you know there's never
been justice to the victims.
Yeah. But ODM as a party was not subjected to that process. Number two, our leader was not subjected to that process. So when he comes here and says that ODM came to power through violence in 2007, I think it's very unfortunate. And he was a member of ODM then.
And that's why I left.
He was a member of ODM then. It's very unfortunate. And if there is any evidence that ODM came to power after 2008, 2007 election through violence, he is a responsible member of the society. He can present that evidence before the courts. So it is unfair for Malala to come here.
But it's also right that after the violence, ODM got into government.
Yeah, but you see, what I'm asking is that what is that specific charge on the ODM party? Can he provide that? He can't provide. People went to ICC, ODM was never taken to ICC. And the whole process of 2007 post-election violence, you knew very well that it was all over the country. So all over the country. People were killed, ODM members were killed in Naivasha. Did ODM authorize that? I think it's a very unfortunate statement
Senator Malala,
coming from him.
And Senator Osotsi as well as Honorable Koech. The fact is, there has never been real justice to the victims of 2007-2008 post-election violence. And it would be unfair for the political class to sit and make fun of such kind of events without responsibly taking the duty that you carry as leaders. So what do we do to ensure that whatever happens, because Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the House will be looking at these nominees. If they approve them, they'll be named to be commissioners. What do you ensure, what do we do as leaders to ensure that there is a trust and supporting the institutions of the country to ensure there's a credible election?
Osotsi, I want, just before I respond to that, Osotsi, I want to remind you. Recently, we saw ODM and UDA signing a memorandum of understanding to work together. One of the issues you assured Kenyans that you're going to look into compensating families which lost their loved ones during the Gen Z protests. Up to now, you have not addressed that issue. Up to now, ODM is enjoying the sumptuous meal served on the high table of government and has totally forgotten about the Gen Zs. But I want to applaud the party for one thing. They have very high etiquette while eating. They serious because now
Sam, you know,
table manners, because you know Sam, you know why.
Let me inform the,
and you see, facts are facts. Just a moment.
The new deputy party leader of DCP.
Facts are facts.
Let me inform him. You know when Malala comes here and says these kind of things, I want to remind him one thing. ODM is a very practical party. You see, we are a party that deals with agenda that affects every Kenyan. For example, the agenda on cost of living, the agenda on high taxation.
No, you talk about Gen Z.
And now, listen, I'm coming there. Your party,
which party?
Which cannot even equate to ODM, the new party, is a party that just talks in rallies, in press conferences. ODM is a very practical party. We have engaged the UDA, which is the party in power, to get into an arrangement to address 10 issues. One of it includes...
Talk about Gen Z.
No, I'm coming there.
The rest
one of it you have not read. You know, as a Secretary General, you need to be reading these things. I want to refer you to the 10-point agenda signed between the two parties. One of the issues there was on matter of compensation of the victims of Gen Zs and Azimio rallies. Number two, the issue of empowerment. Has it been addressed? The issue of empowerment of youth, who also includes Gen Zs. The issue of cost of living.
Has it been addressed?
No, wait. You asked me a question. Now I'm responding to you.
We know the point.
The issue of cost of living.
Yeah.
Now, for the party to get to a point where we get the party in power to agree to addressing those 10 issues, I think that's very commendable. What has the other people done? They claim to be opposition, but all they talk about, the agenda from morning to evening,
so tell us,
is President Ruto. But ODM is addressing the real issues affecting Kenya.
It's a fair question there, because rights to peaceful assembly, compensation of all pending claims of rights victims is one of the 10-point agenda you refer to. What is the progress on that?
We are engaging them, to the UDA government, to ensure that there is a clear, actionable process of addressing the issue of compensation. We are engaging them on the issue of cost of living.
Who are you speaking to, strictly?
UDA, they have a structure, just like ODM.
Yes. So
we are engaging the party UDA.
Who?
They have the National Executive Committee.
Who? Who is the receiving officer?
No, the organ. We are engaging organ to organ of the party.
Organ to organ, but
yes,
there has to be a receiving person. There has to be someone who takes...
They have a Secretary General.
So you're speaking
They have a Secretary General, Mr. Omar. They have the Chairman, Madam Barire.
Hassan Omar.
Yes, party to party.
To compensate.
Who wrote the letter?
You see, we have an agreement, Sam.
Who wrote the letter to Hassan Omar?
We have an agreement.
Yes.
The agreement is very specific on those issues. So we are engaging on those issues to see how they will be addressed.
It's been a couple of months since it was signed. Who have you engaged since then? You're the deputy party leader of ODM.
I have told you we are not engaging an individual. We are engaging the structures of the party and the structure of...
How? Do you speak to them at press conferences? Do you write letters?
No. You know, some of this meeting we are not like DCP who engages in press conference.
But for you to,
we are engaging practically in meetings.
There has to be a real process. Does it exist or not?
It exists. It exists.
Through who?
Sam, you know, there are some things that cannot be said in the media.
Come on.
Like,
there are things which
the rights of victims of Gen Z protests cannot be said in the media?
No, I'm saying there are some processes which I cannot come and say.
How does that compensation look like?
Compensation is the families which lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
They should be compensated. So the discussion will be what form of compensation
would be or
and
is.
How much. should be.
What have you proposed?
The discussion.
Tell us what you've proposed as a...
No. I mean, it's unfair. It's unfair to ask me to say details about something that is ongoing.
That question, Senator.
The most, Sam, you know, the most important thing.
Senator Sotsi, the reason I'm asking that question, I've been looking at the budget books.
Yes.
There's no indication of any resources allocated there for compensation of Gen Zs. This budget is being considered by the House that he sits at. It will be passed very soon in the month of June.
And who chairs the Committee on Budget? A member of ODM.
So
who is in charge of Treasury? A member of ODM.
If it's not factored in the budget, what happens?
Who prepared the budget?
Our role as a party was on behalf of Kenyans, was to engage UDA to agree to resolving those issues. Now, the burden to resolve those issues, it is between the two parties. And ODM is doing its part. I don't want to go into details about what we are doing. We are doing our part. And if that happens, we would have practically dealt with the 10 issues. Now, that is different from a party that only talks in markets, that only talks about an individual. But this is a party that has practically come out to try and address this problem.
Okay, all right. Honorable Koech, do you have any information of any conversations about Gen Z compensation?
There is an agreement. Why do we conversation?
Sorry, this is a question for Koech.
For UDA, not Koech.
Allow me to be very honest. I do not know, because there was a team that actually made an agreement on the 10-point agreement that was formed from either side to come up with that 10 agreement point.
Yeah.
However, I do not know how it's supposed to be implemented. Some of the issues that have been raised have been brought to Parliament. I do not know if it is factored in this financial year. I've been dealing with my sector for the last 1 week. And when I overall look at the budget, then I'll be able to know. But I will not, comprehensively say that. Yeah, I don't know at this point. I don't even know how it was meant to be addressed. But I know the issues that were raised at that point, like you are indicating. But allow me to mention that I feel very bad. You very quickly moved from the issue of the IEBC commissioners, the nominees, and the statement that was made by the former deputy president.
Right.
I find it, that the former deputy president only views individuals and qualification from one lens, that of the tribe, and must be from Wamunyoro. He does not look at the nominee chair as a very educated individual with 23 years as an advocate of the High Court and with 3 master's degrees. He just sees him as a Turkana and feels like the Turkana community do not deserve anything.
I don't
he did not. He said that.
He said he has worked with the former governor.
No. Let me tell you, to cast aspersions on an individual and to say, so-and-so is a friend to so-and-so, I think, in my view, is totally wrong.
No. I'm just saying, I have no problem.
We have had an
I have no problem with you raising issues. It's just not accurate to say that he raised an issue for him being from the Turkana community. I don't think that's what he said.
That is a lens he uses for anything.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, it doesn't have to say.
You may know him better than we do, but that's not what he said.
Yeah.
Can you deal with what he said?
You know why? Part of the reasons why we impeached the former deputy president.
Yep.
Do you still remember? Was because of the lens of viewing the nation. He has only one lens. It has to be from Wamunyoro or nothing. So I know, because we have participated in a process of removing him from office. I feel very bad. Because honestly, Sam, I feel very bad that people want to bastardize the new commissioners before they even get to Parliament. I want them to be allowed, and some elections are not won because you are a friend to a commissioner or so-and-so. Elections are won because of a manifesto that you give to the people of this nation. I have tried to listen, like Honorable Sose did say. Malala's party, I do not know what they stand for. I honestly do not know. Other than every time they take on the mic, it is William Ruto, Kasongo. There is nothing else they speak about. They don't tell you what they want to change in this country.
Bottom up.
There is nothing that they alternatively offer from the government of the day. So this is a party that is saying that we are going to rig them out. Rig them out from where? They don't have votes. This is a colorless party. This is a party that we will not compete with. It cannot compete with UDA. In fact, it will struggle to come forth. I can tell you that for real. The people of this country are not foolish. You cannot have a failed Mythical Inturi telling us today that he has gone to form another party because he wants to come back. Honestly, Mythical Inturi or Fertilizer, and you are telling me that you want to come back and again convince me to vote for you? Malala, who we ejected from UDA, is telling you that today I have another solution that he could not offer when he was sitting in the cabinet in UDA. Honestly, you want to tell me Wamunyoro, who was in government, who was a second in command, and had nothing to offer? What can you remember of Rigathi Gachagua, for instance? Just tell me anything, one single policy that reminds you of Rigathi Gachagua. Zero. Zero. So these are individuals. This is a pool of failed individuals who have decided to come together to preach to the nation and tell you another story that you know very clearly is a con story. There is absolutely nothing. So there's no rigging to be done. We have no competitor in 2027. I've told you repeatedly, we will be competing against our manifesto. We will be competing against, did we deliver the fertilizer to the people of this country? We will be competing against the education system. Have we restructured it? We will keep competing about our manifesto in SHA. Are we able to implement and make sure that people truly get universal health care? We are going to compete to see that we've stabilized food inflation in this country. That is our interest at the moment. We have no competitor. And let me tell you.
Oh, even Raila, you're not crying.
Even that is progress. That is.
I want to stay with you.